I'm sorry?
The plunger trick. Use a plunger and pull out the dent.
There was no dent.
Oh, there wasn't even a dent? Oh, what was it?
It's all the plastic siding was pulled off, the light was broke,
Oh.
all that kind of stuff.
Well, Clay fixed Dad's the other day. Pulled his bumper out and did, they're out there painting with their little marker and stuff. I was just like, what are you two doing? They just make projects up.
I don't like it when he goes on all days.
You know, I know, I mean either. And Ledger's bike's been down for like a week. And I can
Pretty
fit.
sure he could work 24 hours a day up at Dave Atkinson's.
Oh, there's lots, yeah.
This is the
Um,
last one.
Yeah, he can fix anything, huh?
Do we have one?
Hello, sir.
Morning.
Too damn early for me.
It's like 9 o'clock at night for me right now.
9 o'clock at night would be better.
Yep. And then get up at 3 in the morning. That's my equivalent on the night shift.
That reminds me of my old radio days. I'd be getting up at 3:45 to get in for 5 o'clock at the office. In bed by 8 every night. I do not miss those shifts. Mind you, I'm up at 5 to be at work for 7 for the morning shift at the store, but that's not so bad.
Not the 3.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a really busy day. Yeah, extracurriculars, then driving everybody.
Those guys that have coffee at 6 in the
And
morning,
then I went to the office.
they wake up at
and
4 in
worked
the morning.
office until 2
Wow.
o'clock in the morning, and then-
They're
That's
lined
what
up
they
at
do.
the door
I drive up.
before 6
5
o'clock. They're
months.
lined up at the door like quarter to and whatever.
Yeah, I only have one kid, but she lives.
That's wild.
This morning, Curtis, like our Friday morning, Curtis goes
Oh,
with
really?
some of the guys.
I just want to see what it feels like to be a priest.
And they go for breakfast.
You can't stand there.
What are you doing?
No, just seeing
Did you
what,
just bless us or?
yeah, I was
did you
just
say-
seeing what it'd be like to be a priest. Bless you, Randy, you need help?
Is this religion or?
Very, very religious.
She's going for teams.
Speaks to your
We're talking about the
congregation.
holy water.
One bread.
I'm gonna change that coffee into something else.
How do you know what it is?
It's gonna be vodka now.
Well, my girlfriend, we became,
You think Vegas was gonna sweep that series?
I would have bet if you would have bet $1,000 on that, you'd be a millionaire, right? Like, could you imagine the odds of that happening?
and she
Yeah, it's crazy.
It'd be interesting to hear what Makar was playing through.
Oh, but did you see that little with McKinnon and
As far as I know,
Redner?
No.
They looked like he was like
far as I know,
something
yeah.
about like do your job or something
I
like that.
haven't heard he wasn't, so.
But,
He'd be the one that called it.
yeah, I didn't watch much
Thought so.
last night, but
Hey,
it was really hard.
I mean, I know what McKinnon can do.
Didn't see Kerry in though.
but he's friendly too, again, right?
Was he?
Remember that shot? He took that shot and they had
Oh,
to
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like there, he could barely. It looked like it was bad. It had to be hurt more.
Director level.
Old Marner. Yeah, that's a pretty
I'm
cool
a
story.
owner's representative,
Okay.
owner's representative, so
Toronto, I think the pressure and stuff is
I
just
built
gonna get
condos
to
in
people from
townhomes, but I
people.
also run the
Those young kids,
operations of
you know,
the
the meeting
home
and down there, they're like, no, shit, I guess he's back.
It's like Toronto's GM search. Okay.
You need-
Who wants that job? Who wants that
They'll
job?
never do it good enough. They'll last a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Best thing he'll do is get their first overall pick.
Gordon,
I think Ruby goes too.
you missed
Haven't
that meeting that we had at the conference.
Is that what they're talking about?
Thanks.
Yeah, I think you were the Gordon that they wanted to.
That'd be interesting.
The whole coaching thing too, it's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
well, yeah.
you know what I mean? Oh, you're a terrible coach, but someone else will pay you $10 million to coach their team, you know? And then
And
the
then
next
you
thing
got
you know,
Cassidy that's sitting there.
yeah. Even Knobloch, you know, he was in the final about 2 years ago or whatever, and he doesn't look like a hockey coach. but-
They were Todd Bertuzzi coaching that
Did you see the picture?
with his big old beard.
He looks like he's like I don't know. He doesn't look like he's changed a lot. It seems like since his.
Oh, yeah,
They were talking about him in that.
So,
yeah, that's, oh, you're right.
Hulcho.
Well, I
They were talking about that.
Oh, I was thinking about Borders too. I was like, this convincing.
It's been pretty quiet.
Probably
I know
not.
that BD just came back in there as their GM, so I don't know.
George is here, isn't he?
Yeah, he just.
What time do you overdress us?
Well, I thought if I didn't, you'd give me shit.
That's what I. Where's yours?
You know, we like he's been around for, you know, with a name, you know, kind of a, you know, name and stuff. You think that.
I left everything in the car. When I leave here, I'm
I
going
think this kid
out in the bush, so.
I asked him.
Remember talking about that.
If you're, are you or are you not?
I don't know. There's some speaker
Counselor
request there, so.
Elliott said.
I told Spencer I would come.
Okay.
Mark said
And
he
remind
for
him
new
that
children.
it's not a debate and
No,
Yeah.
I'll bring my kids. That's right.
So is that, can you pass it on to Counselor Elliott?
You wanna do it?
I can do it, sure.
It's all yours.
Thank
Okay.
you. There you go, Mark.
Thank you.
So 7 o'clock tomorrow night at,
The Posse Lounge.
Obviously, loud.
There's no time.
oh, okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
I shall make a
Oh,
note.
yeah. Do you want me to send you?
Oh, that'd be awesome. That would be even easier. Thank you very much.
Where's James?
GFO.
I just think we love the guest. Of course, but like, I love guest yesterday. Even as I went, like, there was one I had just about that was like 4 o'clock.
How are you?
Thank you.
You gotta start playing Togetic.
Yep.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, no worries.
2 o'clock.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Are you going to the museum tonight?
I hope to. Yes.
No.
That's great for them. That's impressive. Yeah.
Ever play Evelyn?
Yeah. I haven't.
I have kept watching it. I think Everett's pretty good there.
Yeah. Well, it can. Very exact. I was just gonna say that participants are the one.
Oh, shut up. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the audio is already on.
I think we got her all. Yeah, should be live.
Said Jackie told me the other day, I said, I'm so happy to hear, sad that Ron quit, but so happy to hear that Billy Shropshire is gonna confront the
Yeah.
people. I'm worried sick, she said. But she said he's got a lot of good people.
Yeah, he's, busting his butt up there, so.
Said they went down and helped Karameus Royal.
Oh, yeah.
No, Karameus is gonna come and help them.
Excellent.
He just, to me, he's got such an attitude. But the best thing is, I love to see him when he buys a new truck,
Yeah.
to see how many days it is. first day.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you guys ready? Call the meeting to order. Acknowledge the Smokeman Valley in which we learn, work, and organize is the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Smokeman people and home of the Upper Smokeman Indian Band. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you, Councilor McLean. Willis, all in favor? That is carried. Goes down to petitions and delegations. We have 4 delegations, starting with Carrie. 15 minutes is, the floor is yours.
Thank you. See if I can make my technology work. So, I'm sorry, everyone, I have taken a day off work. I have not slept in 24 hours because I heard about this meeting at 10 o'clock last night. And there was a lot of documents to review. When did council receive notice of this meeting? Because
Yesterday.
we check I've been
Yesterday.
checking daily.
Yesterday. It was called yesterday. It was called 24 hours in advance
Mhm.
so that we could have this meeting, because as promised to the public, that the minute this all became compiled, that we'd have a meeting. So we're having a meeting today, and then we have another meeting next week as a regular meeting of council. So the council is in the same know as the public, and public is in the same know as council.
And have these documents all been reviewed by council, or were they staff documents?
Yeah, we got them, like I said, we've reviewed them,
So you
we've gone
get-
over them, we have them.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna discuss them as a council in the public, in an open public meeting, as we promised at the meeting in 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was? The one I wasn't at, so it was promised then that we would do this, we're doing this,
Yes.
so that it can be done, so anything further can be done at the next council meeting.
Yes. So during the council meeting on January 15th, 2025, there was a staff report from Jared which had limited information, basic funding application, general program description. It's attached in the documents. No implementation plan, no rollout strategy, and the report specifically recommended that council authorize staff to submit an application to the water meter pilot program for implementation and installation. The council support the project, and that council authorize staff to manage, sign, and award components of the project until completion. The requests were made 15 days before submission deadline for the grant. Council approved the recommendations on the same day that they were presented with no conditions or staged approvals. Council did not retain responsibility for governing decisions. It acted through, it's supposed to act through resolutions and bylaws, not delegation of core decisions. So the project moved forward. No detailed public review, no stage council oversight. Section 89 of the community charter supports open, transparent decision-making. Residents were not given a clear opportunity to understand the scope, ask questions, or comment on the impacts. This meeting today is the first time the public is seeing a program that's already underway. Contract was awarded December 2025, signed January 2026. The material with the agenda has been made public after procurement, after contract execution. How does that seem appropriate?
So this is for you to give us your
Okay.
speech.
Okay.
And then anything that may arise from your guys' discussion will be addressed later. So
Perfect.
We're on
I
there's a
appreciate
lot of stuff to go through.
Yep. No,
and
I
we have a
appreciate the
time.
clarification. The other issue is that entry onto property is governed by Section 16 of the Community Charter. Has to be reasonable, lawful, and justified. No prior council discussion on homeowner access, consent process, or liability consideration. And that's caused harm in the community. Residents have been told that this program is mandatory, that they'll face fines, that they could have their water shut off, and it was communicated under the town's authority and on the town's letterhead. And it's been confirmed that there is no bylaw in place that supports that. And the information hasn't been corrected unless this this last minute meeting with 126 pages of material for people to read in 24 hours is the presented correction. People are still operating under the belief that this is mandatory. I've heard stories, people crawling through dirt crawl spaces to try and find where their water shutoff is, digging trenches to figure out where it comes in to the side of their house. They're working on plumbing that they don't understand. These are residents, these are seniors, these are, low-income families that work 12 hours and then come home and have to find their water shut off. It's not a communication issue, it was like a full communication failure. And based on how this material was presented, it appears that council is quite comfortable with that. Your own RFP, section 1.5, and the installation requirements clearly state that infrastructure varies in age and condition, and that replacements or modifications may be required. Technical specifications also indicate difficult installations in non-standard conditions. Nowhere has anyone defined who pays. It's just been published that it's a free install. So when a home needs to be modified, who pays? If a homeowner can't afford those upgrades, what happens? Are they excluded without penalty? Will they be considered non-compliant under a future bylaw? Because right now, residents think they're getting something for free. But in reality, and after reading the documents, they're taking on an unknown liability. And then the rollout's been structured so that installation can proceed before feasibility is even confirmed. We don't even know if these homes can accommodate the systems, and then the people who are deciding it, they're like, is it the contractor? Is it town staff? Is it an independent qualified professional? Is it documented for each home? Because right now it's undefined. There's just a lot of things that are very undefined. And it says that some homes may not be suitable and will be handled individually. It's not a program. That's just a how. How do they get handled individually? The biggest issue comes is the town is now committed to delivering a program under a provincial agreement. If we don't meet the requirements, who pays? What's the town's financial exposure? And in that, it would be the residents' financial exposure. The contract limits the contractor's liability. The province has limited its exposure, but we haven't limited resident exposure. So if something goes wrong, who pays? And it's been acknowledged that there is no bylaw in place. So when exactly will council bring forward a bylaw amendment? And there'll have to be multiple bylaw amendments. If you track each one of them together, none of them correlate. They don't talk to each other. As it stands, residents believe they're being asked to comply with something that's not legally enforceable, is not clearly defined, is not financially structured. People are panicking, they're angry. It's fixable, just not how it's structured and not the way it's being communicated. There's just too many gaps in non-information. So I really hope that after delegations, all of the information comes, and yeah, let's upgrade some infrastructure. It's a great plan if there's clarity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Amanda, you're up next.
Okay, I haven't done public speaking here in a while, so bear with me. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today regarding the proposed indoor residential water meter program. I want to begin by saying that I support responsible water conservation. I think most of us understand the importance of protecting water resources and maintaining infrastructure for the future. My concern is whether mandatory indoor metering, particularly in older homes, may place a disproportionate burden on homeowners without clearly demonstrating that the indoor residential use is the primary issue being addressed. When overall municipal water consumption is discussed, I think it's important to recognize the municipal demand includes several categories: residential use, commercial use, irrigation, institutional use, and infrastructure loss through leakage and aging systems. Those are not all the same thing. As a resident, I would like to see clearer local data showing how much of Princeton's total water demand is actually indoor residential consumption specifically, compared to other system losses and uses. I am also concerned about the plumbing implications for older and legacy homes. Does the Neptune meter have an integrated backflow or check valve, or is one of these installed? If yes, section 2.6.1.11 of the BC Plumbing Code states, protection against thermal expansion shall be required when a check valve is required. This appears to require a licensed plumber. My understanding is the certification of the Neptune installers is an Ontario 800A certification. How is this being applied to BC Plumbing Code standards to eliminate the risk to the homeowner? For newer homes built from 2010 to the current year, that may not be a major issue. But Princeton has many older homes with aging plumbing systems that were never designed for these types of retrofits. In some cases, homeowners may face additional costs beyond the meter installation itself, including plumbing upgrades or pressure-related repairs. For seniors, fixed-income residents, and long-time homeowners, these costs may not be minor. According to the 2021 census, approximately 32% of Princeton residents are aged 65 and older, which is significantly higher than the provincial average. That demographic reality matters when considering policies that may introduce new household costs or retrofit requirements. I am also concerned about process and governance. From what many of us understand, aspects of this program appear to be discussed, planned, or advanced before clear legal authority for mandatory indoor metering was formally established within the existing bylaw framework. There is now public discussion about amending the bylaw to specifically support the initiative after the fact. As a resident, I find that concerning. In my view, policies should not be implemented first and legalized after to fit a predetermined outcome. Bylaws are supposed to guide municipal authority from the beginning, not be rewritten later to retroactively support actions already underway. That is not how transparent and accountable governing should work. I think residents deserve clarity regarding what authority currently exists, what authority did or did not exist when the program was initiated, what costs the homeowners may ultimately face, what measurable conservation benefit is expected relative to those costs, expected conservation outcomes, projected long-term program costs, how Princeton compares to similar rural communities with transparent data on actual residential use, whether infrastructure leakage reduction has been fully prioritized first. I am not asking council to abandon conservation efforts. I am respectfully asking council to consider delaying mandatory implementation until clear local data is publicly presented with fact and source information shared, exploring exemptions or accommodations for legacy homes and vulnerable residents, prioritizing infrastructure leakage reduction and high volume system losses first, and ensuring that any conservation strategy reflects Princeton's demographics, housing stock, and economic realities. I am simply asking that council and their representatives act transparently and fairly, with consideration for the realities of older housing stock, fixed income residents, and the financial impacts these changes will create. Good policy works best when residents trust both the data and the process behind it. Thank you for your time.
Okay. A. Fenton?
Me?
All I have on my list is A. I think it's Fenton.
Fenton. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You put your name on the list.
You put your name on the list.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I thought I was just signing
Oh,
in
no,
to come
okay.
to this meeting.
That's okay.
I apologize.
You have to speak now.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Thank you very much for letting me speak today. Thank you very much for letting us have this time. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Very
Sorry,
good. Okay,
everybody,
I'll take you off the list then. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Administrator, I don't have a prepared speech, and I have no problem with public speaking. So I want to talk about the bylaw, which is on the agenda. After having talked with your CAO and him telling me that most bylaws that, all except for maybe 4 or 5, as he had indicated to me at the public meeting that you had, information meeting, that it's only ever happened 4 or 5 times in his tenure that you actually pass first, second, third reading all at once, and then without further in-between discussions. Well, I found it strange that the very first bylaw that I looked at was because of this issue, which had first, second, and third reading all at once, which didn't allow for comment from the community, which is actually not very good. Aside from that, my question is about the enforcement of the bylaw. So we do have bylaw officers in town, I believe, still working here. Could I get a nod, yes or no,
Yes.
please? Thank you. I think this bylaw, the town is in contravention of their own bylaw. And I would suspect that if somebody was to file an application with the bylaw officer that you are in contravention, he would have to investigate that. And if you don't meet the requirements of 987 bylaw, I believe that's the number. And by the way, it repealed 833, which had the same standards, which I find is the part that you're in conflict with. Then a report to the bylaw officer should engage him into an investigation as to whether you're actually in compliance with the bylaw or not. And if you're not in compliance, has the bylaw officer the authority to order you a cease and desist for being in contravention of your own bylaw? And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. With that, we will move to the next section where staff can start with their presentation and explanation.
I'll just sort of start us off here. We wanted to bring this forward in a public meeting so that we can have an open discussion with council, allow council the opportunity to ask any questions or get clarification. We also have had requests from the public for certain documents. We want to make sure that we attach the documents so that they're available for all to read. Jared meets with the Neptune group on a weekly basis, so Jared will be able to give us an update on where we are. But I just wanted to highlight that they are making good progress. They've only been working here for just over a month, and we're zeroing in on the 50% install rate. Just for clarification, at this point, it is a voluntary program until the new bylaw comes in. So we want to encourage people to take advantage of the free install and free meter while Neptune is here. They're leaving at the end of June. So maybe I'll just let Jared sort of speak on his last meeting there, and then we'll just open it up for a council discussion.
Thanks, Mayor and Council. Yeah, just a quick update on my weekly updates with Neptune. We have a total of 1,358 water utility accounts. Neptune has installed approximately 559 so far. We're currently sitting at 295 soft refusals. So this soft refusal is a property that has just not reached out to Neptune at all, despite reminder letters or door knockers or what have you. And I mean, this could be a mixture of reasons. The resident just flat out doesn't want a meter. The resident wants a meter but doesn't want Neptune to do the install. The resident is just busy, hasn't gone around to calling. Vacation, could be out of town property owners, things like that. This number was at 330, so it is, people are slowly trickling in on that. As of yesterday, we're sitting at approximately 7 appointments booked, waiting for install. Each week during our updates, that number is usually around 70 to 100, so it's holding pretty steady, but it is dwindling right now. There's also approximately 434 accounts that are pending. This is a mix of installations that could need a little bit more major carpentry work, framing type of alterations, potential alterations to plumbing to be able to accept a meter above the scope of the installers. This also includes, I do have a list of properties that the mail was returned, so we're working out how to reach out to them because our information wasn't accurate apparently. Also in there, there's a couple, well, not a few, there's a list that Neptune has to do some extra work to make it happen, and then there's also a list that the town needs to look at, broken valves in the street, just different things like that that can be taken care of. So yeah, by the end of this week, we should be sitting at 50%. And yeah, so it's moving along, it's still moving along on projected timelines. The bookings are just becoming a little bit fewer at the moment.
Okay, before we get going, I've got a couple questions. And one is to that letter that Neptune sent out. So, to be clear, it wasn't on our letterhead. Neptune created that letterhead, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you guys have, staff has spoken with Neptune to tell them to cease and desist on those letters, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. And I know Carrie had a comment about delegated authority. Under section 154 of the community charter, we do have the ability to delegate authority. Council decided to delegate the authority to manage this project to staff. They do have the authority. So just to make clear that that is something that is possible under the community charter. And this is the first time we've done it. It'll probably be the last time it's ever done. So just so you know, like, there was a lot of other things. It's too bad we don't have Chris or Alan here today to talk about the building code or the plumbing code. I know Chris would know that inside and out. Can we talk about pressure related issues for a second, Jared? Can you explain how that's mitigated or whatever? Because I know there's that seems to be an ongoing concern with the community, so can we talk about that? Can you explain if there's ways for the installer to mitigate pressure related? I know every time the water gets shut off and turned back on, it's the same risk, but can you explain how they're maybe mitigating that?
Yeah, so I mean, every time your water service is shut off, there is the potential for like a small water hammer depending on how fast the services are shut off. Neptune has been advised, and our crew as well, when handling our outside valves in the street, to do it very slowly. Another option that they do when turning the water back on, not every place has this, but, well, every place has an outside hose bit, but if you turn that on, it can help regulate the pressure so you're not getting that spike.
And then the overall leakage, I know there was quite the comments about that. So just for clarification to the community, industrial and commercial are metered. We implemented that a number of years ago, so those are being metered. Leakage, Jared can probably talk to it better, but we've been replacing water mains, pumps, etc. So can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so for leakage, we do have an active excuse me, leak detection program. So that's just consists of going to our street valves, service valves, hooking up our device and listening for leaks. We can also hook up to fire hydrants. We also have a correlation device that can span a water main between two valves and then see if there's a leak somewhere in the middle, and it actually does a very good job at pinpointing. So with Princeton, our ground is very gravelly. Typically when there's leaks in other communities, it comes to the surface right away. With Princeton, like I said, it's right in the riverbed. Our leaks just go straight down, so they're very hard to find sometimes. This leak detection program does work, and we've been changing out leaking valves, services, lots of things like that. Yeah, and with that being said, right now we monitor the water coming out of our wells is red, so we know exactly how much water is coming out of our wells, but we don't know how much the system is actually using. So this residential program is, once everyone's in there, we'll be able to tell what's coming under the ground and then what people are using, and then we'll be able to know if we have major leaks in the system or not. But until everyone's metered, it's very hard to tell.
So I know a number of years ago, we had one 24-hour period where people decided to water their lawns in excess, and we had just about every reservoir in town to the point where we would not have been able to regen them. So we put in a do not water, I don't know if there's an order or whatever, to be able to regen our reservoirs. Since then, we've done some major work, like the work over here on where is it, over by Pete's place there.
The booster station.
Yeah, the booster station.
Warren
and-
Street,
Warren, is it that one?
that's where
Warren,
Pete
yeah.
lives.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
I grew up here, I don't know every street, but I know whose house or
Yeah.
what tree or what rock is there.
I'm Pete's neighbor.
Okay, so that work, I know after we've done that and a bunch of the other things, the water mains under the river, etc., we've seen a lot less loss in our, like, we were kind of judging by our reservoirs.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot less water loss since we've done all those. So I'm just trying to show, because there was a concern that we haven't been doing our due diligence on the infrastructure side. I'm just trying to get to show that we've been doing that work. So the next stage is water meters for residential, so we know what residential usage is.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Okay. Council, who's got a question first? Go ahead, Councilor Gould.
Okay, so in all transparency here, it was myself who actually got in touch with Carrie and Amanda to let them know, because they had personal conversations, or they had reached out to me. I did not go on Facebook and post it. I just wanted to make sure they were aware. Carrie had come and did a presentation to council. I wanted to make sure she was aware that this is where we're having the discussions. This is where the information is being shared with us today and discussed. So unfortunately, when you put your name on as a delegation, it's before the information's all being said. So some of the questions that they have will be answered, but it's just one of the things to it, is that your delegations before the information's presented. So it's not that that this council sitting here today has not been behind closed doors having conversations. We're also seeing a lot of this information for the first time in this package. For myself, I can speak for myself, that a lot of the information's the first time I saw it too. And 126 pages is quite a bit of information to go through. I'll take responsibility on the lateness of your being notified of this meeting, because I was night shift, so I didn't receive until I woke up in the afternoon, and then I have to get myself ready for work, get to work, and then I can't communicate until I'm on a break. 10 o'clock was my break. So letting people know that is where it's me that did that, and yes, I own that. And I think it's important that we are sharing the information and that I'm not hiding anything. I think this is still a viable project that we can get through. 3 meetings now, I've heard declarations from this council and staff that acknowledging that mistakes were made on the rollout of the information. In looking at this, and I still don't see a contract to know what their terms were. I'm not sure. I see the request for proposal terms that were generated by True Consulting, and if their actual proposal came in as outlined how it should, then there was requirements that they needed to meet for the rollout as well, like in the communication, and that needs to come to the town project manager for the verification. I know that acknowledgement was there that Neptune did the letters. It's unfortunate that the letters have the words mandatory, and then and both letters I received have that, and then the words that are perceived as threatening, in the sense that it says that fines may be I I can't remember the exact wording on that because I didn't receive that letter yet, but there may be fines or water could be discontinued. Well, it's been acknowledged, again, multiple times, but there's nothing that's been presented to go out to the public. It's just been acknowledged in this room that those are not the words that we should use because they are not the words that support this. And there's been agreements and acknowledgements on that multiple times. We'll say it again today. This is where we want to make sure we're making the corrective measures going forward to ensure that the public, the residents know it's a voluntary program. It's not mandatory. That's a word that was unfortunately used in the information sent to the residents. I can totally relate to the feeling of it being a bit aggressive then, but it's a voluntary program. Its intention from being put onto our, I'm a horrible public speaker by the way, but it being put onto our strategic plan that goes into, what's our our financial plan, capital projects, what's that, can you help me with the word?
5-year financial plan.
Thank you. In our 5-year financial plan, all our capital projects are listed, and this was something that we identified early on as a critical need in our community, was to fix our aging infrastructure. And in doing so, we were told, and I can't remember by who or when, that we needed to, the communities need to do water metering. And that was on our strategic plan, and I can't tell you exactly what year we put it on.
2019.
2019?
It was the first time it was put on a plan.
And it goes on the financial plan, but there's also lots of things that go on the financial plan that don't always get completed until we have funding. So in this case, the unusual thing to it was that the full project was delegated to staff to do. That's the difference, and most contracts aren't done that way. I'm not gonna continue to speak on that. But when the funding came through, it's admitted that the town of Princeton could have done better with sharing the information about the program. We got a lot of information at the open house that was given to the public. There was a lot of common questions and common answers given. And that was the thing that we asked on May 13th for staff to prepare and bring back to council, the results of that open house and what were the common questions. Let's answer them all. Like, have it in some kind of writing that could be distributed or become a permanent part of the record that somebody could go in and look at. That's what I was hoping we would have still. It's been a few weeks. We don't have that. We have all of this, which is great, but it's still not really giving those, sounds like same continued concerns are still out there. And again, I know that we don't have a communication person that can sit on there and answer every question, but there are things that I believe, I felt after that open house, a lot of the information was available. Like it was given back, but it wasn't in something that was a handout, right? Like there was concerns that, and it's something that I know we've asked, what are some possible options? And then a report's gonna come back to us, I hope. I don't know if that can be given to us today, or there are options of they want it installed, but they don't want an Neptune, or they want a plumber, or are we gonna get that kind of information? That's what I would like. That was my request on that day. That was the motion of council.
Okay, you said lots, so let's give staff an opportunity to respond to some of it.
We are working on a communication plan. I think we sent it out just for feedback kind of thing. We don't have it totally finished yet, but we're trying to address all those questions in there. But you know, there's a lot of questions, but we're starting to see common themes, and so I think that we're starting to tailor our communication plan to sort of address those themes. I think in a lot of cases, when it comes to older infrastructure, it really is a case-by-case basis. Someone needs to actually look at it in order to give the answer. So we're not going to be able to probably do that in a handout that's generic for everybody. But what I would encourage everyone is book the appointment, get someone to come to the house and look at it and evaluate it, and then give us an assessment.
Which I agree, it's like in looking at this, looking at the request for proposals that True did for us, that's outlined in there. And again, I can't confirm that's actually what was in the proposal given to us because that's not included in the package.
Could you speak to that, Carrie?
Yeah, it was given to us in confidence, and it will not be released to the public. If you want to look at it, you're welcome to come and see it.
If it is in line with what our True Consulting asked them to do, then I would say that that is exactly what it is. One is the initial contact and making sure they do an assessment, they do the field work, they determine whether it's going to take a little bit more work. Then they report back to the town. So,
Jared, can you speak to that?
Yes, that is how it is written, and that's what is happening.
so then again, so that we don't just have to go completely on the project, it's voluntary. It is, if you're concerned about your infrastructure or if it's even a possibility, because it's very clear in the RFP where it can't be, right? So if those are your concerns, then start with the initial concept. But that is the one and only contractor that can do that, right?
As per the program, yes.
Per the program.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the install portion, but you'll find out if it is necessary to go into.
Have you heard back from the granting agency?
Partially. So I've contacted them, and I've got an email, not a memo or a document yet, stating what the funding can be used for moving forward. As long as it's for like the purchasing of the water meter, like the town purchasing water meters to distribute to the public, that's acceptable. As long as there's installation costs for installing the meter, that's acceptable. What I'm trying to get answers on is any potential change of scope. So a potential would be that, okay, we could supply a water meter to someone. They could then arrange for a plumber to have it installed. What I'm looking at is potential money to that person from what the difference would be from Neptune installation to do the work. Then maybe we could give that as a concession to the homeowner to have it installed.
Out of the 500 installed, do we have a number of how many people have had to pay out of pocket?
Out of that number, I don't think there'd be anything in that.
I think it'd be zero.
Yeah, it'd be zero.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Councillor Elliott come back to you.
You'll come back to me?
Yes, because
We're on a time crunch?
I do have a time crunch. I have another appointment that I have to go to. So
Like having an option.
I'm sorry. The Okanagan Nation is coming, and I have to go and do something with them. So
You don't like these meetings?
please, please. We have till 11 o'clock. Every member of council has a question. I'm going to let everybody have a question. Councillor Elliott, and then I'll go back to Councillor Gould.
Thank you. As most of you in the room know, I have extensive media experience going back to broadcasting, print, and internet. And so, of course, I'm going to talk about communications. And the feedback I've been getting at work has definitely been not against the project, but how it's been rolled out. We've talked about it here a bit now, and you've indicated that there's going to be better communication. I find it embarrassing that we contracted somebody else to handle that for us, because when you do that, you no longer control the message. And it's pretty clear when you read the content of the letters that you know, a lot of that was not our language by any stretch, and that's very unfortunate. I've spent a lot of time apologizing for the fact that that wasn't our wording, but of course the perception is it was, because it had letterhead and all the other things with it. And again, like I say, I appreciate that there's going to be a change in the communication. Unfortunately, it now puts us in damage control position, which is difficult. When it comes to the communication that goes out, I strongly request that we use as many forms of getting it out as possible. I've had people tell me they have difficulty navigating the town website. So we have to look beyond that and social media. I think it might be wise to go back to the old school way of communicating, and that is sending things in the mail like we used to do. And hopefully that's going to help get that message out. And that's basically all I've got.
Do you have comments on that?
The only comment I would make is that, you know, when we contracted Neptune, this is a worldwide company. They've installed millions of water meters. They have a communication package that they use, and it's been successful for them. When we looked at their package, it looked like it was going to work, but their rollout was a lot faster than we had realized. We didn't think that we were going to see final notices this early in the stage. We thought maybe that would be closer to year end or whatever, but yeah, it didn't work for us, and so we're going to take over the communication part ourselves. So.
Thank you.
Back to you, Councillor.
Thank you. I just was gonna ask about the timeline, like, completed by, it says completed by December 31st of 2026.
Yeah.
Is when we did the request for proposal.
Yeah.
That True were asking for it to be, like, with a project to be done by December 31st. But is that the case with, like, cause you said June, end of June?
Yeah, so our goal is to have all the meters installed by the end of this year. Neptune's, I mean, it's very expensive for them to roll into town and set up shop and whatever, and so their success is doing things relatively quickly, and so they're here to the end of June, and then they leave town, and then we have to go to another phase of this where we still have the meters, but we'll have to figure out how we're going to get them into the house. But so the easiest to accomplish our goal is to encourage people to take advantage of the Neptune team while they're here.
While they're here.
They're fast and they know what they're doing. So.
As well, in the RFP, it went to a transition to a training, like where Neptune then trains town staff. Did that?
No, I don't think we would ever install them. We're not certified to install
Okay,
them.
that was in the RFP, so I wasn't
yeah,
sure
so
if
I
it
think
carried forward in
what we would elect to do is we would elect to engage the local plumbers. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's the next stage.
Yeah.
And then again, so if we were to, it's voluntary, and if, again, the message that quite a few of us are getting is it's not about water meters, it was about delivery and tone, let's call it tone.
Sure.
So if we were to get this back on track and people to understand it's voluntary, we would like you to let them into your home to see and do an assessment. And if that's the case, does Neptune have the capacity to complete them all
Yes.
by end of June?
Yeah, they're very confident that if people would book and schedule an appointment, that they would get this completed.
Okay.
But I also want to be clear that, you know, I don't want to mislead anyone. It's voluntary at this point because our existing bylaw does not support water meters for residential use. However, when the new bylaw is passed by council, it will be mandatory. I think that needs to be stated.
And when will council see this new bylaw?
We're just working on it now. It's with our legal team. Our legal team is Lidstone. Lidstone, just for background, Don Lidstone actually wrote the community charter, so we know that it's going to be on side, right? It's going to be correct, and so they're just bouncing it back and forth right now. We should see it shortly. We should be able to get it to council probably within a month, I would think.
So then with that's you're saying that is inevitable. Would be the word.
It's inevitable,
That
that's
a
right. So I
bylaw
just
is going
didn't want to
be-
mislead the general public that
Right.
it's voluntary forever. I mean, it's voluntary right now, for sure.
Voluntary right now.
Yeah.
And providing that it's not a complicated install, it's free right now.
Yeah, exactly.
If we hold up and we're like, no, I don't wanna do this, or or I don't want them to do it, I'll take the meter, if that's an option. I know we're still looking into that. Then it's not free. I get that. I understand that. So, in the talk, another question was about pressure reducing and stuff in the RFP. Like, so if this RFP was actually put forward into there was design scope there about what needs to be in there, like with the, let me find the diagram, like where there was a check valve and stuff like that in there. So is that something that we are making sure they're complying with?
I maybe defer that to.
For this program, the water meter itself does not require a check valve.
Okay. So, or pressure reducing valve.
Everyone in town should do their due diligence and have a pressure reducing.
But I think, again,
it's not
sorry, I
in
can't
this
find
program.
it. I have too many pages flagged. I think there was a thing in there like it said that if needed, and I know that it's been happening, Neptune acknowledged that at the open house, if they found like the main shutoff was kind of leaking and it probably should be replaced, they were replacing it
Yes.
while they're there doing the work. So if there wasn't a pressure reducing valve and there should be one, are they doing that?
No.
They're not doing that. Okay.
I can speak to that. In my install, there actually was no main shutoff, and Neptune actually installed it.
Yeah, they did mention that it would be, like if it's something that while we're here doing the work, we're gonna do that to make
Yeah.
sure it's done right, so. Okay, that will conclude my questions for now.
I wonder, do you have any ballpark figure on the number of commercial business water meter installations?
I think there's just over 200.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know if I was missing anything, but I heard zero negativity or anything else. Was I missing something?
No, there was no real pushback on that at all.
And that was at cost, that was at.
That was at their
customer.
cost, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess, in my mind, as Councillor Elliott is talking about, so much of it comes down, in my mind, to presentation. Almost embarrassing in terms of, there's certain ways that you deal with people and there's certain ways that you don't, and it's, you know, we got some ground to make up here in terms of whatever. I find that there's also a lot of items that we need to go through. For instance, someone built a house, was required to put in a water meter. Now that water meter is irrelevant. It has to be replaced. In my mind, we were responsible for having them install that. And those people installed it at their own cost, right? When you build a house, you install it at your own cost. As far as I'm concerned, when that water meter now is replaced with a new one, that's on our, in my mind, that's on our responsibility.
We are replacing it at no cost.
Yeah.
And we will own the water, like, the future replacement is gonna be on the municipality, or?
That's correct.
Yeah, well, you know, these were little things that just came up. The other part that when I talked to about this old lines and shut the water off, I mean, are we not shutting the water off every once in a while when we have a water break or anything else?
Yeah.
And they're not all brand new houses. And when I talked to Rob Banks about when they have a fire or something and they have to shut the water off, when they shut the water off, he said, he was referring to this problem about older homes, and he said, when we shut the water off, we have to shut it off very slowly.
That's correct.
Even though there's a fire burning or something.
Yeah.
But we still have to shut it off very slowly, and turn it on very slowly, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of sounded like that may be a solution to the business of these older homes.
Yeah, most definitely.
But it just seems like I didn't hear hardly anything in terms of when they came and did my at my business and that sort of thing. Obviously, as you said, they're doing like 300, and I didn't hear any kind of thing. And so I wonder if it just doesn't reflect back on our presentation. That when I was told that I had to put this thing in or whatever, it was presented in a normal. There wasn't anything to do with Neptune or anything back then, right?
For the commercial program?
Yeah.
No, just that Neptune was the product that had to be purchased, like that's what we
But
had in
it
our
was
system.
us who presented that to me and other businesses.
Yeah, yes, that's correct.
We did a way better job. In the future, maybe we need to stick to ourselves in terms of how we present things. Or at least double check on what, if they're gonna do it for us, then we better go over it a little more closely in the future.
We might not be able to have a decision of council today on this subject, but you touched on a good point, and that is about the existing meters on new builds. What council's will is, or direction to staff on how they want to handle that. Maybe council could debate it a little bit, and at another date they can come up with a final decision that we could put into our communication plan.
Today?
Well, if you feel comfortable discussing it, I don't know.
I have no problem.
Okay, Carrie's got some.
So I do have a couple questions for council, some decisions that could be debated so that we have some direction when moving forward with the draft bylaw, as well as there will need to be some changes with the fees and charges bylaw. So the first question I have for council is addressing the meters that were purchased by homeowners when they built starting in 2010 and how they want to address that. Because I believe Councillor McLean, you have said that maybe there should be a rebate or, and I believe Councillor Elliott, you have asked that question as
Yeah.
well. So I guess just to throw out there to council, how do you want to handle these older meters?
You want a motion?
I want council to make a decision
You
on
already
how,
know-
and
you already
maybe
know what
staff can give a little
You
bit of a
already know what I
recommendation
think.
as well.
Hey, one at a time.
Is-
How many are there existing?
Altogether, services?
No, that need to be replaced, the meters that are existing.
I don't have that number right off.
Is it a rough idea?
Didn't we say they're covered already? Are they not covered now?
They are covered for replacement under the program.
We're replacing them under the grant, but
Yeah.
what I think Council McLean is asking is a rebate on the existing ones. So,
Well, to pay back the money that they paid.
is that what you're asking?
In lieu of them paying for the
It'll have to go into a financial
The
plan.
new
so-
meters have to be replaced.
Yeah, and they're replaced for free.
I believe I paid $185 in 2018 for a meter. I'm not sure of the exact cost.
So then, if I built, well, you should know, but you built that thing, you put in that meter, you paid for that meter, right? And you paid for the installation.
Yeah, then
Now they're gonna come and replace it for free. Do you get any reimbursement for the meter that you paid for that?
That wasn't used.
I wouldn't have expected it really. With the new meter, I was just like, but yeah,
I disagree, because if your neighbor is.
But he doesn't have it.
No, but if your neighbor has a heritage house or a house that didn't have a meter before and he's getting a free one, and you get your existing meter replaced for free, but you paid for it, how fair is that? I don't see that as being fair. I think there should be a rebate or some sort of concession for people who had to previously pay for a meter out of their own pockets.
So what is your suggestion?
Can I make a point before?
Yep.
So, I acknowledge the fact that it's great that it'll be free to replace it. It's unfortunate that they weren't used. The intent was that it would be used for reading them. So I agree with them being replaced for free. But they did do initial payout. They had a cost, $185, I believe was what was just said, just as an example. So we would need to take we'd need to take into consideration where's that money coming from. If you did give a rebate back, $150, $200, where's that $200 for however many meters, which we need to find that out. Where's that coming from? If it's within this grant funding,
No.
great.
No,
No.
it definitely
So
would not
then
qualify. under
we
the
have
grant.
to make an amendment to our financial plan and determine where that money is coming from.
Yeah, and then you'd have to, I mean, as mentioned here, the ones that were purchased earlier were a lot less money than the ones that were purchased later, so you'd have to
Okay.
kind of figure
And
it
I
out,
would use
so.
the argument that, it's kind of a legacy thing, it's already in place. And we, as council, just made a motion for the Clargester to be fixed because it was something that was already in place too, instead of charging the property owners to fix it. So I would think that we have to have that come.
So here's my suggestion, is that we ask staff to go back, because we don't know how many there are, we don't know the financial implications. So before we start making decisions on something that we don't know, is we ask staff to come back to us with options for a rebate, what it's gonna cost, et cetera, so that council can make an informed decision rather than just shooting at the hip here, so.
No, we're just debating the
I know,
options.
but I don't wanna see a motion go forward that we do a rebate with no idea what the financial implications are. Our finance officer is at a training course right now, we don't have those numbers, so.
I don't believe we were doing a motion, I think it's a
Right.
discussion.
Yeah.
Council McLean said he'd make a motion right now, so I don't want a motion right now. I would rather have a motion that we go forward, asking staff to come back to us with options on how to deal with this, because you're right. If, Tom only paid, $200 and somebody else paid $500, how do you, where do you come up with that dollar value? Because it is gonna come out of tax dollars, one way or another, and the tax base is gonna have to make up for whatever you guys is decided, so we need to have staff come back to us with a report on what the financial implications will be, how many are out there, what the options are, so council can make a decision. If you guys are okay with that,
I would
that
make
would be
that
my
motion.
suggestion.
As stated by Mr. Mayor and written by Director Terry.
So bring back,
In a
options.
timely manner.
Yeah, for sure. I would second it if there's, yeah, for sure. I would second that.
How long is James at this training course?
He's back on Monday.
So, it won't be for the next council meeting, but we could possibly have it for one after that.
As long as we have the wheels turning on this.
Because then we'd make that motion, then we'd have to have an amendment to the financial plan, and then,
Or you put it on next year's financial plan to cover
Yeah,
costs then.
that would be the easiest.
Because we can put it on this year's and we don't have to then find other programs to cut, so. So you pick
but then if
project.
it's not on this year's financial plan, can it happen?
Well, it may not happen, they may not get their, if you choose to rebate money back, it may not happen this year, but it could be in next year's financial plan to rebate those people back, so. But you could make your decision this year, that's part of
This
this.
is why we need
rule,
options
so.
from
Yeah.
staff on what can actually be done, rather than just trying to figure it out on the fly here.
Yeah.
So we have a motion on the floor, can you read the motion?
To send it back to staff with options on a rebate program for previously purchased meters in a timely manner.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor.
Somewhere in there that we find out what number we're talking?
I've got notes for that, number of meters, rebate
you.
amount, amendment of the 5-year financial plan.
Perfect.
Do we have a seconder to the motion?
Yeah, I did.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried. Next steps on where we're gonna go from here with bylaw, you said that's gonna be coming soon.
Yeah.
Options for rollout of however to.
Yeah, I was just gonna
the
just
timeline.
also state, you know, the timeline is that our goal is to have meters installed this year, by the end of this year. 2027, we would monitor the system, stay on flat rate billing for next year. And then, once we get it all figured out and we understand how the program works and what a fair rate would be assessed to a metered rate, then we would initiate the metered rate for 2028, just so we're clear.
And can I ask a question on the fair rate? The fair rate is just to cover the expenses of the,
Yeah.
having water.
By law, we're not allowed to make a profit off this service, and we're just providing the service at cost. And so it would be to assess the usage and the cost to provide that amount of water, divided amongst the amount of meters, and then that's what the metered rate would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. By the amount of meters or the volume?
Or the volume and divided in by the number
By
of
the
meters.
users.
By the users,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. So if I pay more, cause I have too many people in my house,
Yeah.
then I should be paying
Yeah.
more than rent.
Conservation
That has
is,
two people in his house.
conservation is a high priority for us, but a byproduct of that is that people should be benefiting from, they only pay for what they use as well,
Yes,
so.
which is the intent,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more fair.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Do you think you'll have an answer from the province on the option rollout? If that's,
For the funding usage
Yeah,
availability,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I should have that very soon.
Well, we've checked with this business of the replacement of people that put one in and now it has to be replaced. And we asked and they said no.
It's not part of it. I'm gonna get better clarification on the next.
Cause when there's a lot of material there, and when I glanced over it, I got the feeling that they were covering a lot of extraneous.
It's just strictly procurement of the meter itself for us and installation, any cost to do with installation.
My one other thing is, did you read that? That presentation starting off with new water metering program could save $1.5 billion liters a year. Man, when you read through that, if you had any doubts about water metering, it's in plain, is there a way we can get that out?
It's a public document now, yeah, so I mean, it is out there. We can include some of the language in our communication plan as well. It has been proven that water metering does conserve a minimum of 30% overall. We won't know what ours is until we run it for a while, and it'll help us with leak detection and whatever, so.
Just when you read the reasoning of all that, like, there's a lot of problems that we have to deal with, but
Yeah.
the basis of why it's so beneficial is
Yeah.
all summarized in that presentation.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can I just ask one more thing?
Yep.
Like, the May 13th meeting, there was the delegation, Carrie did her delegation, she had her letter on there. The motion was for staff to draft a response.
Mhm.
When do we anticipate that?
Yeah, so it's part of our communication plan. You know, we'll try and put all the answers in our communication plan to answer, because I mean, those questions are not exclusive to Carrie. She represents a big group, and so we've had other people ask the same questions, and some in a form letter style. So we're hoping to address all those questions in this communication.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it would answer her questions?
Yeah.
Any other delegations, any other written letters to the town?
Yeah.
And then from the open house too, and what's your estimate on when we'll get that?
What do you guys think?
I don't have as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Try our best, right?
We're trying to get as much accurate information as we can, so, and we're looking for some
Well,
outside
I
help as well.
volunteer to
so.
be your proofreader.
Yes, that's good.
So
Okay.
please send it to me.
If Neptune wants to install as many as they can pre-June 30th,
The sooner.
the sooner it
yeah.
gets out, the
Yes,
more
yeah,
comfort
for sure, yeah.
people will
No,
have in-
we definitely are understanding that it's a timely issue, so.
And I just, like, we're not hiding from it, we understand this is a important issue. Obviously, this is most people we've had repeatedly in our council chambers, so it's important to the community, and it's important we listen to you.
Yep.
So I thank you all for that.
And to be fair, you're looking at the entire department that's managing it.
Yeah.
He's sitting right in front of you. So he's trying his best, and the more letters come in, the harder it is for him to answer all of it in a timely manner. So he's trying to manage the contract, he's trying to manage the installations, he's trying to manage the communications. So, I mean, so he is trying, so, I mean, every time I walk by his office, he's in the middle of working on it. Jared's trying, Jared is the only
And
guy.
that's not on us.
No, I'm just letting you know that he is working hard to try to get all this done, right? So it's not that he's ignoring you, it's just, he's trying really hard to get everything done.
I think it's just frustrating because we've been rushed all of this,
I understand.
unknowns, and then now we're on a time crunch.
We are-
It's not really a fair.
And then.
We understand that, and we take full responsibility for that,
Yeah,
okay? We
that's-
take full responsibility for the rollout of this, we take full responsibility for the lack of clarification, we take full responsibility for, unfortunately, the way Neptune communicated this out. It's on us, we've taken full responsibility, and I get that we're, you know, it looks like we're trying to catch up with this, but we're trying to do, we are, but we're trying to do our best, okay? So, this has been brought forward to us, we had the open house, I said we have to have an open house, there's an open house, we are trying to take all of the information that we've gathered at that open house and now deal with it in as quickly a manner as we can. That's why we had a meeting today, that's why it was called, we had enough information to hold the meeting. Council on the was it the 13th, committed to being transparent and bringing this information forward. So as soon as I heard we had the information, I called the meeting. So the meeting is here. We have another meeting next week, and hopefully we'll have more decisions by next week because we're on timeline as well. So we are trying, we take responsibility. This is on us. We own it. We're trying to deal with it, and I hope everybody understands, like, we are trying to make this better. And we will never just delegate our authority away like that again. So there's your guarantee, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Do you need any more motions? Good. So with that, we'll set something, I guess, next step for next week, and then we'll move on from there. Okay. The next item on the agenda is, we have to talk about that. Motion to close the meeting to the public for consideration on the interests of the municipality.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Second. Moved by Elliot, second by Blaine, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And thank you for coming.
Thank you.